My family still calls her the golden child. They don't know the truth, what she took from me, what she made me do. I stayed quiet for years. But silence has a breaking point. I never thought I'd be the one telling a story like this. For 5 years, my boyfriend Terry and I had what most people would call a normal, healthy relationship. We met in college, started out as best friends, fell in love, and moved in together 2 years ago when we both landed jobs in the same city. We split rent, shared chores, went hiking on weekends, argued over whose turn it was to do the dishes, the usual stuff. He'd never been jealous, never tried to control me. If you asked anyone, they'd say he was a solid guy. That's why what happened last Friday still feels like I stepped into some alternate reality. Every few months, my high school friends and I have this tradition, a big dinner party where everyone brings a dish. We rotate houses, catch up on life, laugh too loud. This time it was at Michelle's place. The theme? Thanksgiving leftovers. I'd been talking about it all week. I invited Terry twice before the party. Once, he said he wasn't sure if he'd feel up to it. The second time, he said he'd rather stay home and catch up on work. Fair enough. He's not obligated to tag along to every social thing I do. So Friday afternoon, I was in our kitchen making a sweet potato casserole. I remember the smell of cinnamon and brown sugar filling the apartment while Terry sat in the living room with his laptop, completely absorbed in whatever he was watching. I didn't think twice about it. Around 6, I slipped on my coat, casserole dish still steaming on the counter. He looked up at me and, in this casual voice, asked what time I'd be back. I said, probably around midnight, maybe later. You know how we get when we're all together. I expected him to nod or joke about me bringing him leftovers. Instead, he closed his laptop and stood up. His face had gone strangely serious. He said he didn't think I should be out that late. I actually laughed, thinking he was joking. We've both stayed out later than midnight 100 times. But his expression didn't change. Then he said something that chilled me. Women shouldn't be out late at night without their boyfriends. Nothing good happens after midnight. I have certain standards about this kind of thing. I froze. Are you serious? I asked. Yes, he said, completely serious. If you're living with me, you need to respect my boundaries. My casserole felt heavy in my hands as I put it down. This wasn't a boundary. This was control. I told him exactly that. He insisted it wasn't control, it was about safety and respect. My heart was racing. Where was this even coming from? We'd been together for years and he had never, not once, mentioned anything like this. I reminded him how many times I'd been out late before. He just repeated himself like a brick wall. I tried reasoning with him. It's at Michelle's. Safe neighborhood. I'll text you when I'm leaving. He shook his head. Doesn't matter. Then, like a switch flipped, he said, if you don't like my standards, you can find somewhere else to live. 5 years together and he was threatening to kick me out over a dinner party. I stared at him. His face looked different. Harder. Like I was looking at a stranger. I asked what time he thought I should be home. He said, 3 a.m. at the latest. I blinked. That was later than midnight, the time I'd already given him. But before I could even respond, he said, actually, since you're arguing with me, now it's 1 a.m. He said I was making him angry, and because of my attitude, the curfew was moving up. My stomach dropped. This wasn't about safety. This was punishment. I walked into our bedroom, my hands trembling, and started throwing clothes into a bag. He followed me, leaning against the doorway, asking what I was doing. I'm leaving, I said. Not just for the party. Leaving for real. You're being dramatic, he muttered. I pushed past him, grabbed my casserole, and headed for the door. He called after me, where are you even going to go? I didn't answer. I just left. I drove 40 minutes to my parents' house, staring at the dark road, my chest tight. When my mom opened the door and saw my face, she didn't even ask, just pulled me inside. My dad came downstairs, and I had to explain it all again, every detail spilling out of me. They set me up in my old bedroom. My mom reheated some dinner I couldn't bring myself to eat. That was Friday night. Now it's Monday afternoon. My phone is still silent. No calls. No texts. Nothing from Terry. I've checked it 1,000 times. Part of me keeps waiting for an apology, some explanation like, I don't know what came over me. But there's nothing. Saturday morning, I texted him asking if we could talk. He read it. No response. Sunday, I tried again. I need to know what's going on. Read. No response. I keep wondering if I missed something. Was he always like this and I just didn't see it? Or did something snap in him? My mom keeps telling me I did the right thing by leaving. My dad keeps threatening to drive over there and talk to him man to man, but I've begged him not to. Here's the worst part, we share the apartment. Both our names are on the lease. My clothes, my laptop, my books, everything I need to work from home, it's all still there. I called the landlord this morning, hoping there was some loophole. Nope. We'd both have to agree for me to come off the lease early. Otherwise, I'm stuck until March. Some of my friends already know what happened because I didn't show up at Michelle's. She called me Saturday, worried. When I told her, she was stunned. Terry always seemed like such a normal guy, she said. Another friend told me her cousin's boyfriend acted the same way before it turned out he was cheating. That thought's been echoing in my head ever since. Maybe that's what this is. Maybe he's guilty and projecting. But even if he was cheating, which I don't know, the way he treated me wasn't normal. Threats, ultimatums, changing the curfew just to punish me for questioning him. That's not how someone who loves you behaves. At some point, I'll have to go back. My job, my things, my life, they're all still there. My mom suggested I wait until I know he's at work, bring my dad, grab the essentials, and leave quietly. But the thought of sneaking into my own apartment makes me feel sick. Like I'm the one doing something wrong when all I did was refuse to be controlled. Sometimes I wonder if I overreacted. Should I have just come home at 1 a.m. that night and had a calm conversation later? But then I think, if I'd done that, I'd be setting a precedent. He'd learn that he gets to decide when I come and go. And where does it stop after that? Who I see, where I go, what I wear. I used to read stories like this and think, how did she not see the red flags? But when you're inside it, you don't see them. Or maybe you do, but you convince yourself you're overreacting. You tell yourself you're lucky someone loves you. Except Terry hasn't acted like someone who loves me these past 3 days. Someone who loves you doesn't threaten to kick you out over a dinner party. Someone who loves you doesn't ignore you for days after you've left with a bag of clothes. And now I'm here, 26 years old, hiding out at my parents' house like a runaway teenager, asking myself the same question over and over. What do I do now? Do I try to talk to him one more time? Do I start making plans to move out for good? Do I try to figure out what triggered this, or do I accept that maybe this is who he's been all along? Because right now, I can't stop hearing his voice in that doorway, cold and final. These are my standards. Update 1. I didn't think I'd be back here so soon, but here we are. Honestly, I thought my first post would be the end of this story. I'd left, I was safe, and I was trying to figure out my next steps. But after what happened this weekend, I can't stop shaking. I need to get this all out. And to everyone who told me to grab my stuff and go, you were right. I should have listened sooner. After 4 long, silent days with no word from Terry, I decided I was done waiting for him to act like an adult. My dad and my uncle helped me rent a moving truck. We made a plan, go there Saturday morning, text him an hour before we arrived, not to fight, not to talk, just to give him a heads up. I wanted this to be peaceful, civil. So, at 8 a.m., I sent the text. We're coming to get my things at 9 o'clock. Please just let us do this without any problems. He replied within 2 minutes. No. Stop telling me what to do. That was it. No hello, no discussion. Just that. My dad read it over my shoulder, his jaw tightening. He said, we're going anyway. It's your place too. He can't legally keep you out. So we went. My uncle followed in his truck. My mom stayed home, thank God she did. When we pulled into the driveway, my heart dropped. Some of my stuff was already outside, not packed neatly, not even protected. Just thrown there. My winter coat was lying face down on the concrete. A box of my books had burst open, pages were fluttering in the breeze. A few kitchen items scattered like trash. My dad's face turned red, but he stayed calm. Let's just load what we can and get out, he said. We started picking things up, quietly loading the truck. Terry's car was in the garage, which meant he was home. My uncle walked up to the door and knocked. No answer. He knocked again, louder this time. And then, the door opened. Terry stood there, and he looked awful. His hair was greasy, eyes bloodshot, wearing the same sweatshirt he'd had on when I left. But what made my stomach twist wasn't how he looked, it was how he stood. His right hand was behind his back. Something in my uncle's posture changed instantly. He stepped back. Terry's voice was cold. Get off my property. My dad said, firm but calm, this is her property too. We're just here for her belongings. Then Terry moved his arm. And I saw it. My uncle didn't hesitate, he grabbed my arm and pulled me back toward the truck. My dad's voice was raised, but I couldn't hear the words, just the sound of blood roaring in my ears. My body felt like it wasn't mine. We got to the trucks. My dad was already on his phone, calling 911. My uncle kept his arm around me, asking if Terry had ever been violent before. I couldn't answer. My mouth wouldn't work. I just kept thinking, this is the man I lived with for 5 years. Before the police even arrived, my dad's phone rang again. It was Terry's mom. Apparently, Terry had called his parents after we showed up, and his mom could tell something was very wrong. She was crying, asking what happened. My dad told her. She said she and her husband were already on their way, they lived about an hour and a half out, and begged us not to let anyone get hurt. The police dispatcher told my dad that officers were staging nearby, waiting to see if it could be resolved peacefully since Terry's parents were coming. That hour felt like forever. Finally, his parents arrived, flying down the street like their lives depended on it. His dad jumped out before the car even stopped moving, went straight to the door, and knocked. Terry opened it. Let him in. We couldn't hear what was being said, but about 20 minutes later, Terry came back out with his dad. He got into their car without a word. His mom was crying in the passenger seat. They drove off. When the police finally approached, they took statements from all of us. Then they went inside to make sure the apartment was safe. One of the officers came back out and asked to speak to me privately. He asked if I knew Terry owned weapons. I said no, I'd never seen any, and he'd never mentioned it. The officer gave me this long, heavy look and said, there's quite a bit in there. You're lucky his parents showed up when they did. My blood ran cold. After they cleared the scene, we went back inside to get the rest of my things. The apartment looked like it had been abandoned. Dishes stacked everywhere. Trash on the floor. It smelled sour, like old food and stale air. We didn't talk much. Just worked. Loaded boxes, filled bags, and tried to move fast. By early afternoon, we were done. On the drive back to my parents' house, my phone started buzzing. Over and over. Terry. First message. I didn't know you were planning to break up with me. No response from me. Second message. My parents are making me stay at their place for a few days. Still nothing. Third message. We need to talk in person. That's when I finally texted back. We are not talking in person after what you did. You threatened my family. I will never feel safe around you again." He replied with this long rant about how I'd humiliated him by showing up with people, by calling his parents, by involving the police. He said I'd ruined his reputation in the neighborhood. Then came one more message. "I guess this means you're my ex now." And then, a laughing emoji. That was the last straw. I blocked his number. The next day, my mom got a text from Terry's mom. It was formal, too formal. Like something a lawyer drafted. An apology for Terry's behavior, mentioning he'd been under stress, and expressing hope this would not lead to any legal action. My mom didn't respond. Monday morning, I called our landlord again. I explained everything, the breakup, the police, the move out. He said he'd already talked to Terry, who was supposedly trying to find a new roommate or have his parents co-sign the lease so I could be released. Still waiting to hear back on that. I've been sleeping in my old bedroom at my parents' house, surrounded by boxes that smell like my old apartment. I have a job interview Thursday for a position in another city, and I'm praying I get it. I can't stay here. Every corner of this town feels haunted. But then Tuesday came. And because I blocked his number, he found another way. He emailed me. "We should meet at a coffee shop to talk like adults." I didn't respond. He emailed again yesterday. "If you don't respond, I'm coming by your parents' house." That one I forwarded to the police. They said it probably wasn't enough for a restraining order yet, but they'd keep it on file. Then, last night, around 10 p.m., there was a knock at the door. My dad answered. It was Terry. He said, "I just want to talk to her for 5 minutes." My dad didn't even hesitate. "Leave, or I'm calling the police." Terry said, "I have a right to talk to my girlfriend." And my dad said, "She's not your girlfriend," and shut the door. Terry stood there for a few minutes. Just stood there. Then he left. My mom's terrified. My dad's furious. And me? I don't even know what I feel anymore. I lie awake at night, replaying everything. People keep asking if there were signs. I've gone over every memory, every argument, every quiet night at home, and I still can't find them. Or maybe I just didn't want to. Now I sleep with my door locked, even in my parents' house. I keep my phone charged at all times, just in case. This is my life now. Constantly waiting for the next knock, the next email, the next coincidence. And the scariest part? I don't know when, or if, it'll ever feel normal again. Update 2, I thought moving 400 miles away would be enough. I was wrong. About a month after my last update, I packed up what was left of my life and moved to Portland for a new job. I didn't tell anyone except my immediate family and 2 close friends. I thought that putting 400 miles between me and Terry would finally give me some breathing room, enough distance to feel safe, to start over. For a while, it actually worked. I found a decent little apartment, started my new job, and tried to build a routine that felt normal again. I even made a few friends at work. On Tuesday nights, I went to yoga. I learned which coffee shop made my favorite latte. Basic stuff. Quiet. Ordinary. And for 6 months, nothing. No calls, no emails, no unexpected knocks on the door. My dad told me Terry's parents had paid out the rest of our lease, and I was officially off it. It felt like a chapter finally closing. Then, 2 weeks ago, the past found me in the most mundane way, at a grocery store. I was standing in the produce section when I heard someone call my name. It was Amanda, a woman from our old friend group. We'd been friendly but never close. She was in Portland visiting her sister. We hugged awkwardly, made small talk. But then her expression shifted. She hesitated. "Have you heard what Terry's been saying about you?" My stomach tightened. "No," I said. "I haven't talked to anyone from back home in months." Amanda glanced around like she didn't want to be overheard. Then she told me. Terry had been telling people I'd been having an affair with my uncle. My dad's brother. The man who helped me move my things that day. Terry was saying the whole moving day had been staged, a cover story so I could leave him without looking bad. I literally couldn't speak. My uncle, who's been married to my aunt for 30 years. The quiet, kind man who works in IT and barely posts anything online. Amanda said she didn't believe it, of course, but she warned me, other people might not know you well enough to realize how ridiculous it is. I went home shaking and logged into Terry's social media from a friend's account. I'd blocked him months ago, but now I needed to see. And there it was. Posts about betrayal. Posts about how the people closest to you can be the most dangerous. Nothing direct, nothing actionable, but anyone who knew us would connect the dots he was drawing. I took screenshots of everything and sent them to my parents. That night, my dad called me. He'd already heard some of the rumors. Someone at the grocery store had even asked my mom if everything was okay with my uncle. My mom had no idea what they were talking about until they awkwardly explained. My uncle was devastated. The thought that people might believe he'd had an affair with his niece was destroying him. My aunt called me crying, not because she believed it, but because she was terrified of how it would ripple through their lives. I told myself I was done looking. Block it out. Focus on Portland. My job. My little Tuesday night yoga class. But 3 days ago, something happened that made me realize this wasn't going to just fade away. I was walking back to my apartment from the corner store around 8 p.m. There's a parking lot I cut through to save time. That night, a dark blue sedan was sitting there with someone inside. Nothing unusual, except they were angled toward my building. Watching. I told myself it was nothing. The next day, the same car was parked on the street near my office. The day after that, back in the parking lot by my apartment. Always with someone inside. Too far to see clearly. Yesterday, I decided to test it. I left work early, took a longer, winding route home, turning down streets I never use. The car followed. Not aggressively. Not obvious. But every time I turned, it appeared again. I pulled into a gas station. The car drove past, then circled back and parked across the street. That's when my heart started hammering. I drove straight to the police station, parked, and sat in my car for 20 minutes. The blue sedan never showed up. Inside, I filed a report. The officer was kind, but without a license plate or a clear photo of who's inside, there isn't much they can do. He suggested I document every sighting with photos, timestamps, everything. He said if I had reason to believe it was my ex, I could consider a restraining order. But that's the problem. I don't know for sure it's Terry. It could be him. It could be someone he hired. It could be a friend. Or a coincidence. My gut, though? My gut says it's not random. 3 sightings. 3 different locations. Same car. Same person sitting inside. I've started varying my schedule. Taking different routes. Parking in different spots. My building has a locked entry door, which makes me feel a little better, but anyone could slip in behind another resident. This morning, I called a lawyer a coworker recommended. She specializes in stalking and harassment cases. We have an appointment next week. She told me to bring everything, the moving day, the emails, the social media screenshots, every detail about the car. I'm trying to be rational. To make plans. But my brain keeps spinning. I already moved 400 miles away. Do I move again? Change my name? How do you make someone leave you alone when they've decided they're entitled to your life? My parents want me to come home. But going back feels like admitting defeat. And if Terry, or whoever this is, found me in Portland, what's to stop them from finding me back home too? At least here I have my job, my apartment, and some thin layer of independence. Right now, I'm sitting in my living room at 2 a.m., writing this because I can't sleep. Every car door that shuts outside makes me jump. Every footstep in the hallway makes me hold my breath until it passes my door. This isn't living. This is surviving. And I'm so tired of it. Update 3, I thought Denver might finally be the end of it. After everything that happened in Portland, the car, the rumors, the strangers showing up, I decided I couldn't keep living like that. My lawyer helped me file for a restraining order. It took about 3 weeks to get through the courts. When the judge finally signed the papers, my hands were shaking. A 1-year order, keeping Terry at least 500 feet away from me at all times. Between the moving day incident, the emails, him showing up at my parents' house, the social media campaign, I had enough documentation to convince a judge. The car surveillance was harder to prove, but added to everything else, it tipped the scales. According to the process server, Terry answered the door at his parents' house and just took the papers. No yelling, no comments. Just silence. That was 2 months ago. And since then, no direct contact from him. But other things started happening. About 4 weeks ago, my boss pulled me into her office. She said someone had called pretending to do a background check for a security clearance I'd supposedly applied for. But the questions weren't about my employment history, they were about my personal life, my relationships. My boss said it didn't feel right. She told them she couldn't discuss personnel matters and hung up. I went straight to the police. They said it was probably someone trying to dig up information about me, but since no threats were made, there wasn't much they could do. They logged it in my file. Then, 2 weeks ago, I went to dinner downtown with a guy I'd been seeing casually. Nothing serious, just a few dates. Halfway through our meal, I looked up and saw a man standing across the street. Tall, late 20s, just staring at our table. When I pointed him out to my date, the man turned and walked away. The next morning, I woke up to a Facebook message from an account with no profile picture. You should be ashamed of yourself for moving on so fast. You destroyed a good man. Your date should know what kind of person you really are. I blocked the account, reported it, tried to shake it off. 3 days later, I saw that same man again, this time in the cereal aisle at Target. He walked right up to me. Terry told me everything, he said. You cheated and then made up lies to cover it up. I told him to get away from me. He leaned closer. Everyone back home knows the truth now. You can't hide forever. I turned and walked toward the front of the store, where there were more people. He followed, still talking. You owe Terry an apology. That's when I snapped. I have a restraining order against Terry. If you don't leave me alone, I'll call the police. He laughed. A restraining order is just a piece of paper. Then he walked out. I was shaking so hard I could barely dial 911. The police came, but the man was long gone. I described him as best I could. The officer nodded grimly and said it sounded like harassment by proxy, when someone uses other people to intimidate you because they can't do it themselves. That night, around midnight, someone tried my apartment door. I heard the knob turning slowly, testing it. My heart stopped. I called 911 and stayed on the phone until officers arrived. They searched the hallway, but whoever it was had vanished. The next morning, my boyfriend's car, parked behind my building, had been keyed. One word, carved deep into the paint on the driver's side door, cheater. That was it for me. I called my parents, told them everything. My dad wanted to fly out and camp in my apartment, but I told him it wouldn't solve anything. I started applying for jobs in other states, anywhere far enough away that Terry and his friends couldn't keep showing up in my life. I got an offer from a company in Denver. I gave notice at my job in Portland, telling them it was a family emergency. My landlord let me out of my lease 2 months early after I showed him the police reports. The boyfriend, the one whose car got keyed, backed out. He told me he hadn't signed up for this kind of danger, and he thought it was better if we ended things. I couldn't blame him. So, 3 weeks ago, I packed everything I owned into my car and drove 18 hours straight. I told only my parents and one friend from college where I was going. No updates on social media. No forwarding address for anyone except HR. And now, I'm here. Denver. 3 weeks in. No strange cars. No late-night door checks. No calls to my new job. I'm trying to settle in. Make another life. But part of me knows this might not be the end. My parents are worried. They say I shouldn't have to keep running, that I should fight this properly. But how do you fight someone who uses other people as weapons? Someone who spreads lies, vandalizes property, shows up wherever you go? The restraining order is still active, 10 more months. After that, I don't know what happens. Do I try to renew it? Do I hope Terry moves on? Or do I keep running every time he finds me? I'm in Denver now, trying to make it work. I have a decent job, a small apartment, and a version of myself my coworkers know nothing about. As far as they're concerned, I'm just a normal woman who relocated for work. Maybe that's who I'll get to be here. Maybe this is far enough that Terry can't reach me anymore. Or maybe in a few months, I'll be writing another update from somewhere else. I don't know. All I know is I'm tired. Tired of looking over my shoulder. Tired of waiting for the next incident. But I'm still here. Still trying. And maybe, for now, that's enough. My cousin destroyed my career-making project, but karma didn't forget her. I never thought I'd say this, but I regret ever helping my cousin Jennifer. We grew up like sisters. Same schools, same neighborhood, our moms are sisters, we were inseparable. She wasn't just family, she was my best friend. We shared everything, clothes, secrets, dreams, and I always looked out for her like she was my little sister. After college, I landed a job at Wilson & Brooks Marketing, one of the top firms in the city. I started from the bottom as a junior account manager and worked my way up through 6 years of late nights, endless coffee, and pure determination. Eventually, I got my own team. My clients loved me. I was finally carving out a real career. Jennifer, on the other hand, was still finding her footing. She worked part-time while finishing her MBA, jumping between jobs that never seemed to stick. She's smart, really smart, just impulsive. When a position opened up in my department, I thought, why not help her? I vouched for her. I helped her prep for interviews, even stayed up late to help her polish her presentation. When she got the job, I was genuinely proud. Family helping family, that's how it should be, right? And at first, it was perfect. We carpooled together, had lunch almost every day, collaborated on campaigns. We were that unstoppable duo at work, the cousins. Everyone knew us. We were close as ever, even outside the office. Weekend trips, holiday parties, family brunches, she was still my girl. Then everything changed last year. Our department announced a restructuring, and with it, a new director position, Director of Client Relations. It was a big deal. Huge salary, corner office, direct access to the VP. A dream promotion. Both Jennifer and I were eligible. Both of us applied. At first, it was friendly competition. We joked that either way, the title would stay in the family. But soon, I started noticing changes. She stopped riding to work with me. Started eating lunch alone. Became secretive about her projects, shutting her laptop every time I walked by. At first, I told myself it was just nerves. Competition can make people act weird. I tried not to take it personally. I still invited her to family dinners, still texted her about weekend plans. But she started skipping everything. Family brunches, birthday parties, even Christmas Eve dinner, always with some excuse. And then, the betrayal hit. It happened the night before the biggest presentation of my career. Our team was pitching to TechVision, a major tech client worth nearly $50 million. The biggest deal our firm had ever chased, and I was leading it. I had been working nonstop for 3 months. Late nights, endless revisions, mock-ups, data analysis, design, everything. I had the final version saved on my laptop and a backup copy on an external hard drive locked in my desk drawer. The presentation was at 9 a.m. the next morning. That night, around 8 p.m., I decided to do one last run-through. I opened my laptop and froze. The folder was gone. Completely gone. Not hidden. Not moved. Deleted. I felt the blood drain from my face. I immediately grabbed my backup drive, but when I plugged it in, my computer didn't even recognize it. I flipped it over and saw the connector bent, cracked, like someone had snapped it. That's when the panic hit. I called IT. Our on-call technician reminded me that all offices had security cameras. So, we pulled the footage. And what I saw made me sick. The video showed Jennifer entering my office around 6 p.m., right when I was still in a team meeting. She used her employee badge to get in, walked straight to my desk, and opened my laptop. She spent 15 minutes there. Then she pulled open my drawer, found the external drive, and deliberately smashed it on the floor. Over and over. I remember just staring at the screen. My hands were shaking. I couldn't believe it. My cousin. My best friend. I called my department head immediately. She came in within the hour, reviewed the footage herself, and postponed the TechVision meeting. Thankfully, the client was understanding once they heard about the technical difficulties. Jennifer was suspended the next morning, pending investigation. Word spread fast. Not just through the office, through the family. Jennifer spun a completely different story. She claimed she'd gone into my office just to help me review the presentation, and that she must have deleted the files by accident. She said she dropped the drive by mistake and was too embarrassed to tell me. Then came the real twist. She told our family that I was overreacting, that I was jealous because she supposedly had the better presentation. She told everyone that I was trying to destroy her career out of spite. My aunt, her mom, called me crying at midnight, begging me to drop my complaint. She said, "You're destroying her life over a misunderstanding. She's family. Family protects family." Then the text started. Cousins, relatives, people I hadn't heard from in months. You're taking this too far. You're ruining her career over a mistake. You're supposed to be the bigger person. Meanwhile, my parents stood firm. They'd seen Jennifer's behavior change. They knew how hard I'd worked. But the damage was done. The family was split down the middle. My uncle, who's been my dad's best friend for over 30 years, hasn't spoken to him since. I turned everything over to HR, the footage, the damaged drive, my statements. They launched a full investigation. But even if justice is served at work, the personal fallout? That's something no HR report can fix. Jennifer didn't just sabotage my career. She shattered a lifetime of trust. She took the one bond one thought could never break, and snapped it like that hard drive. And maybe the worst part? I still don't understand why. Was it jealousy? Was it ambition? Or was it just hate? Either way, I've learned one painful truth: sometimes, family isn't who you should trust most. It's who you should protect yourself from. Update 1, my cousin went nuclear, but the truth about her past is finally coming out. I thought things at work couldn't possibly get worse after I handed everything over to HR. I thought the security footage, the broken hard drive, and the investigation would speak for themselves. But I underestimated Jennifer. When HR began reviewing the evidence, Jennifer snapped. She didn't just fight back, she went full scorched earth. Early one Monday morning, she sent out a mass email to everyone. And I don't mean just a few people. She sent it to every single department head, director, and senior manager, more than 50 people in the company. The subject line read, "The truth about stolen work and manipulation." And what was inside made my stomach turn. Page after page of accusations that I had been stealing her ideas for years. She claimed I'd taken credit for her campaigns, her strategies, her creative pitches. She even attached slides, presentations, and evidence, all doctored, all fake. She had edited email threads to make it look like I'd been using her work behind her back. It was a masterclass in manipulation. The story she spun was almost believable, just twisted enough to plant doubt. She painted herself as the victim of a scheming, two-faced mentor who used her for career gain. By lunchtime, everyone had seen it. I could feel the atmosphere change the moment I walked into the office. The usual good mornings were hesitant. People I'd worked with for 6 years were suddenly avoiding eye contact. It felt like the floor had dropped out beneath me. But then, karma started working faster than I could have imagined. The next morning, I got a LinkedIn message from someone I didn't recognize. Her name was Jessica, and she said she used to work with Jennifer at her previous company, Maxwell Marketing. She'd seen Jennifer's email through a mutual contact and said she had to reach out. What she told me next changed everything. Jennifer hadn't left Maxwell Marketing for better opportunities, like she told everyone. She'd been forced out. According to Jessica, Jennifer was on the verge of being fired for, get this, ethical violations. Apparently, Jennifer had a pattern. She'd take credit for other people's work, manipulate documentation, even access colleagues' computers without permission. She'd offer to help with their projects, copy their files, and then present them as her own. Sound familiar? Jessica told me that before she left Maxwell, Jennifer had pulled the exact same stunt. She accused a senior coworker of stealing her ideas, right before they were about to terminate her for the very same thing. And when the company launched an investigation, they uncovered everything. Emails, document edits, file access logs, all pointing to Jennifer. She resigned before they could fire her. And that's when she came to me, begging for help getting a new job at my firm. I felt sick. For 4 years, I had believed I was helping her rebuild her life. In reality, I had helped her escape the fallout from her own lies, and brought that disaster straight into my own company. Jessica didn't just tell me all this, she backed it up. She sent copies of Maxwell's internal emails, HR notes, even the investigation summary. Then she connected me with 3 other people who had similar stories about Jennifer. It was like seeing the full picture for the first time, and realizing how deep the rot went. When HR got hold of this new information, they expanded their investigation immediately. They started pulling Jennifer's old project files, reviewing client communications, interviewing coworkers. And what they found was horrifying. Multiple junior employees came forward saying Jennifer pressured them to share their work for review. She'd then present those same ideas to leadership meetings, with her name on them. She'd been doing it for years. Especially targeting younger employees, the ones too scared or new to speak up. It was like she had perfected the art of professional manipulation. And while all this was unfolding at work, the situation at home turned toxic. Jennifer's parents, my aunt and uncle, were furious. They're telling anyone who'll listen that I'm trying to destroy their daughter's career because I'm jealous of her. She's feeding them lies, saying I dug into her private employment records and dragged family matters into HR. My aunt calls my mom daily, sometimes sobbing, sometimes yelling, saying I'm vindictive, that I've betrayed family. Some cousins have even cut me off entirely. They've unfriended me online, started posting vague messages about fake people who can't stand to see others succeed. They say I've always been jealous, because Jennifer's prettier, more popular, more successful. That I'm the one obsessed with tearing her down. It's surreal watching people I grew up with, people who know me, believe the version of events Jennifer is spinning. The only people standing by me are my parents and my brother, Alex. He reminded me of things from our childhood, little moments we'd laughed off back then. Like the time Jennifer took credit for a poem I wrote in middle school, or when she lied about winning a debate we both competed in. Back then, we thought it was just silly, childish competition. But now, looking back, it was a pattern. And the worst part is watching what this is doing to our parents. My mom and her sister have been best friends since they were kids. They raised us side by side. Family holidays, birthdays, graduations, we were always together. Now, they barely speak. When my mom calls, my aunt either ignores her or answers just to accuse her of raising a traitor. It's heartbreaking. HR's investigation is still ongoing, and I'm documenting everything, every message, every incident, in case Jennifer tries to twist this even further. But I'll be honest, I never thought someone I loved this much could turn my life, our family, into a battlefield. Jennifer didn't just break company rules. She broke every ounce of trust one ever had in her. And I'm starting to realize, she's been doing it her whole life. Update 2, the investigation revealed something even darker than I imagined. I thought the worst was over once HR got involved. I thought the emails, the sabotage, and the security footage were the whole story. I was wrong. While HR was combing through Jennifer's past projects, emails, and access logs, they found something that made my stomach twist. This wasn't just a one-time act of revenge. This had been going on for 2 years. For nearly 2 years, Jennifer had been sending regular emails to our management team about me, not once in a while, but on a schedule. Every few weeks, like clockwork. And the tone of these emails? Always the same. Careful. Measured. Like she was reluctantly sharing concerns about a colleague. She accused me of taking credit for team efforts. She implied junior employees were intimidated by my management style. She even suggested, over and over, that I was emotionally unstable and not leadership material, citing meetings where I'd supposedly lost my temper. Meetings where, in reality, I'd simply disagreed with her ideas. Professionally. Calmly. She'd been planting seeds of doubt about me for almost 2 years, and I hadn't had a clue. But that wasn't even the worst part. HR also discovered that Jennifer had been reaching out to our clients. Not just casual outreach, actual sabotage. She told several of our biggest accounts that I was planning to leave the company. She positioned herself as their lifeline, the person who could ensure a smooth transition when I was gone. She even scheduled private meetings with some of them to discuss transition plans for when I left. Think about that. I was still at the company, leading my team, completely unaware she was trying to make clients believe I'd abandoned them. Luckily, most of our clients weren't fooled. 3 of them actually reported Jennifer's behavior to our management team. And then came the smoking gun. One of our clients, the CEO of a tech startup, had recorded his phone call with Jennifer. It was part of his company's standard practice. In the recording, Jennifer clearly said I had already accepted a position with a competitor and was planning to take client information with me. She then offered to protect their interests by taking over their account personally. Listening to that, I felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. And it didn't stop there. HR's forensics team found that the TechVision sabotage wasn't some spur-of-the-moment act of desperation. It had been planned for months. They uncovered draft emails Jennifer had written, rehearsing her accidental deletion story. They found a fake email trail she'd created, trying to make it look like she had permission to access my files. IT also discovered something that chilled me. Jennifer had tried to access my computer multiple times before she succeeded, several failed login attempts from her workstation to mine in the weeks leading up to the incident. She finally got in the day I forgot to lock my computer during that team meeting. This wasn't just sabotage. This was a campaign. Jennifer has now been placed on administrative leave while the company's legal team reviews all the evidence. And at home? Her story is starting to crumble. She's still telling family members that I betrayed her. But cracks are forming. My aunt, who's been defending Jennifer this entire time, finally asked to see the security footage of her destroying my backup drive. When she watched it, she broke down. It was the first time she saw undeniable proof of what her daughter had done. The family dynamic is shifting. Slowly. Some cousins who had been siding with Jennifer have gone quiet. My uncle called my dad for the first time since this began. The conversation was tense, but it was a start. Even Jennifer's younger sister reached out to apologize. She said she'd seen similar behavior from Jennifer before but had always tried to ignore it. Meanwhile, Jennifer herself has become increasingly erratic. She's sending late-night emails to family members, spinning elaborate conspiracy theories about how I've manipulated everyone against her. She even tried to contact some of our clients from her personal email, but the company's legal team cut that off immediately. Now HR is reviewing all the evidence, working with legal on their next steps. Everyone involved is shocked at the depth of her deception, the planning, the manipulation, the sheer effort she put into tearing me down. I always knew this would change my career. But I never imagined it would change my family. 2. Update 3, the fallout, and the ending no one saw coming. After months of chaos, investigations, and family tension, the situation with Jennifer has finally come to an end. But the way it ended, I don't think any of us saw it coming. Once the board finished reviewing everything, the footage, the falsified documents, the client recordings, and 2 years' worth of deceit, they called Jennifer in for a final meeting. They gave her a choice: resign immediately, or face termination with cause and possible legal action. She chose to resign. Of course she did. It was the only way to salvage what little was left of her career. Within a few weeks, she landed a job at Rival Tech Marketing, one of our firm's biggest competitors. But the thing about this industry is, it's small. Word travels fast. People talk. By the time she walked through their doors, half the industry already knew what she'd done. And the irony? She'd been badmouthing me during her interviews, claiming I was the reason she left Wilson and Brooks. But that only made people dig deeper. A few of our partner companies even reached out to warn me about what she was saying. Karma was doing its work quietly. As for me, I finally got my chance to redo the presentation that started all of this. The TechVision pitch. I rebuilt everything from the ground up. Every slide, every chart, every strategy. I poured my heart into it. And maybe because of everything that had happened, because I had something to prove, the new version turned out even better than the original. When I finally stood in that boardroom and delivered it, I wasn't just pitching a client. I was reclaiming everything Jennifer tried to take from me. And it paid off. We didn't just land the $50 million TechVision contract, we also secured 2 more projects from their sister companies. A month later, I got promoted to senior director, now leading both teams, the very position Jennifer and I had once competed for. And the irony of it all? The job she tried to steal ended up being mine after all. Then came the family part, the part that still stings, even after everything. Last week, my aunt called. She was crying, saying Jennifer had changed. That she'd been seeing a counselor. That she wanted to make amends. She said, please, she's your family. She realizes how wrong she was. But I couldn't do it. Some betrayals cut too deep for a simple apology. Jennifer didn't just make a mistake, she waged a calculated, years-long campaign to destroy me, both personally and professionally. That's not something you fix over coffee and tears. The family is still divided. Some believe I should forgive and move on. Others understand why I won't. My brother's wedding is next month, and of course, there's already been drama about whether Jennifer should be invited. I told him I wouldn't tell him what to do, but that if she came, I wouldn't. He didn't hesitate. He decided not to invite her. That decision sparked yet another round of family arguments, but honestly, I've stopped trying to please everyone. Jennifer still works in the same industry, so sometimes we cross paths at conferences or networking events. The first time I saw her again was last week. She spotted me across the room and started walking over, like she was going to talk. I didn't say a word. I just turned and walked away. Later that evening, mutual acquaintances told me she wanted to apologize, again, and make things right. I sent back a simple, clear message, I'm not interested. The company has changed a lot since all this happened. They implemented new security protocols, automatic computer locks, dual authentication for backup drives, and strict rules about family members working in the same department. A painful lesson for everyone, but a necessary one. Some relatives still say I'm being too harsh by refusing to forgive her. But they don't understand. This isn't about bitterness. It's about boundaries. Forgiveness doesn't mean letting someone back into your life. Especially someone who proved, over years, that they were willing to destroy you while smiling to your face. Jennifer didn't just make one bad choice. She made hundreds, small, deliberate ones, every time she sent another email, told another lie, undermined another relationship. And now, she's living with the consequences of those choices. I've learned a lot from this, more than I ever wanted to. I've learned that sometimes, the people you trust most can be the ones who hurt you deepest. That not every relationship deserves another chance. And that protecting your peace sometimes means closing a door permanently, even if family is on the other side. Jennifer recently got engaged. There's already talk about whether I'll attend the wedding. I won't. Some bridges, once burned, are better left as ashes. Now, I'm focusing on my career. On the family members who stood by me. On peace. Because sometimes, the healthiest thing you can do isn't to fix the past, it's to walk away from it for good.